Sexual abuse often begins gradually and becomes more aggressive and explicit over time. This is part of the grooming process molesters use to gain the trust of their victims. While not all child sexual abuse involves physical contact, touching a child in a sexual manner or touching the private parts for any purpose other than to keep a young child clean and healthy is child sexual abuse. Additionally, forcing a child to touch the private parts of an adult or older child is child sexual abuse. Sexually abusive, non-touching behaviors include voyeurism, for example, secretly watching children as they undress for bed at night, speaking to a child in sexually explicit language, showing children pornography or forcing them to watch sex acts, soliciting children through the internet for sexual purposes. Victims of child sexual abuse may experience long-term mental, physical, and emotional consequences. In addition to effects such as anorexia or bulimia, a higher tendency for substance abuse and difficulty with intimate relationships, research confirms that child sexual abuse can also lead to chronic health issues such as diabetes, liver disease, and heart disease. Learning about how victims are affected and how abusers perpetrate abuse helps us to be more informed so that we can better prevent abuse from occurring in the future.
When we uncover the truth about child sexual abuse, we have the power to safeguard our children against offenders because we know how they prey on youth. We are not helpless. When we work together, we have the power to protect. There are 5 steps for you to follow that will help protect children in your family and in your community from the terrifying ordeal of child sexual abuse. The steps are: know the warning signs, control access through screening, monitor all programs, be aware of child and youth behavior, and communicate your concerns.
Step 1 is know the warning signs of adults. Child abusers employ a grooming process to gain access to children and build trust between children, their families, and the molesters. The manipulative process includes physical, psychological, and community grooming intended to create an environment that traps children and lulls families into complacency. Preferential and situational abusers both exhibit this type of grooming behavior. If adults are exhibiting inappropriate behavior, it does not always mean that they are abusing a child. However, if you identify a warning sign, it could be characteristic of the grooming process and must be addressed. Here are some of the potentially risky behaviors exhibited by adults that could be part of a grooming process. The first one involves an adult who always wants to be alone with children. Note that there are some people who always want to be alone with children. This is the risky behavior. Adults who are sometimes alone with children in an open or transparent environment for specific reasons, such as reconciliation or counseling, are not necessarily behaving in an inappropriate manner. Another warning sign is when an adult discourages others from participating or monitoring activities. Child molesters use gifts as a way to manipulate the child in an emotional and psychological manner. They give gifts without permission and then tell the children not to tell anyone where they received the gifts. Caring adults should always tell parents when they give gifts to children. Letting parents know about the gifts and asking their permission helps resolve any concerns others may have about the adult's behavior and lets the child know not to accept gifts given in secret, even when the gift is something the youth really wants. Adults who allow children and young people to do things their parents would not allow them to do are also exhibiting risky behaviors that could be part of a grooming process. Predators often use sexually explicit language and off-color jokes to begin to desensitize youth. Additionally, abusers often show children pornography as a test to ascertain if they can make the youth feel complicit by trapping them into viewing something the youth knows they are not supposed to see. Children may be afraid to tell parents about these types of experiences. If the child keeps quiet, the molester moves on to the next, more aggressive step in the grooming process. Apart from actually showing pornography to a child, there is also the issue of acquisition, possession, and distribution of pornographic images of minors. This is a civil crime.